Hey everyone, welcome to this new executable items tutorial. In this case, this will be a tutorial of the free version of executable items. If it's the case you have already purchased the premium version, I invite you to check the tutorial link in the description below. With that said, let's begin. To start, you can see every command of the plugin typing EI. In this case, we will be using EIChow. With this, a GUI is displayed with every item you have. These ones are the folders of the default items. In this case, I don't have any item. Let's create one. New items. EA create an ID. What is the ID? It's a value, a string value that represents every item. It can't repeat between the items, so the ID is unique. In this case, EI create tutorial. The first thing is the material. Is the material of the item. In this case, let's write diamond sword. So my tool will be the diamond sword. Custom name. The custom name, you can select the custom name you would want to. It supports normal colors and X colors too. Tutorial free sword. The next thing you can edit is the lore. Let's click it, and here we can delete lines or add lines. Second line, it supports also a colors code. Clear the line. You can add an empty line writing this. And once you are done, just click finish. You can see that the lore is updated instantly. The next thing is item glow. It allows the glowing of the item even if it doesn't have enchantments. Look. Keep in mind that this feature is not for disabling or enabling the glow. If the tool has already enchantments, this feature will not disable the glowing. It is impossible. This feature is just for adding or remove glowing in case your item doesn't have enchantments. The next thing is usage. We will check usage at the end of the tutorial. Next thing is give first join features. If we enter to this, we can enable this option, the amount and a slot. What is this? This allows you to give this executable item to a new player when they join. Keep in mind that this only works with new players. If someone who had already played on your server joins, the item will not be given for him, only new players. In case you want it, you can enable it, select the amount and select the slot where it will be given. Next thing is the durability, and it is related to vanilla durability. It can't be higher than the normal one. Let's set, for example, 100. You can see that my diamond sword now has 100 of durability. If you want to reset it, just type -1. The next thing is custom model data, and it is only available in the premium version. Next, enchantments. You can add default enchantments for your item. Let's add, for example, Charmness 7 and Looting 4. We're going to click it, new enchantment. Let's select the enchantment. Charmness 7. Let's save another enchantment. Looting 4. Save. Let's go back, and now you can see the diamond sword has looting 4 and charmness 7. The next thing is unbreakable, and it will make your item to don't go up or down the durability. It will stay in the amount you select right here. Now attributes. Attributes are a strong way to modify your tools. You can select, for example, the base attack damage, the attack speed, your movement speed, etc. In this case, let's say this diamond sword is so overpowered that it is so heavy, so it will slow the player who is holding the item. Let's create an attribute. It will be movement speed. Add a number, in this case, -0.1. Let's test what will make this number. In the slot of the hand, the name is not necessary and the UID is automatically generated by ExecutableItems. Let's save, back, and save. To give ourselves the item, you just have to shift and right click. Now you can see that when I am holding it, a big slowness is applied to myself. I can't even move. So the number was too much. Let's go again to attributes. Let's edit the attribute we already have, and instead of 0.1, 0.01. Let's see. Now it's better. You can see that it slow me a bit, like the fob. You can see the difference of the fob. That's why it slowed me. And that's it. You can select a lot of attributes right here. The next feature is KeepItemOnDeath, and it is very easy to understand. It's just to make the item to keep when the player dead. Disable stack is only for premium version. Drop features. They are features related to drop. Let's go here. First of all, you want to enable glow drop. What is this? Let's enable this, and let's enable display custom name too. Let's save, and let's see. Now when we drop the sword, it has glowing and it displays the name. What if we disable these options, disable and disable, we will see that normally this is how it looks. Glowing, no glowing. Custom name, no custom name. The next feature is restrictions. If you want to disable something for the player, this is your place. Here you can cancel the item drop, like nobody can drop it, cancel consumption, cancel craft, it can be used on anvil, it doesn't get deleted by cactus, it doesn't burn, it cannot be placed on beacon, etc, etc. You can restrict the player to make some actions here. For example, let's disable the drop. Let's save, and you can see that now I can't drop it. I am trying to drop it. I can't. I will disable this. You can enable anything you want right here. The next feature is hiders, and before entering here, let's check this sword. You can see that it has looting 4, sharpness 7, 1 in main hand, +1 armor and less speed. The armor and speed are the attributes we added here. If you want to hide something, you have to go to hiders features. So I want to hide enchantments, I want to hide attributes, and that's it. Let's save, and now you can see the diamond sword doesn't display anything of the stuff we just hide. Next thing is activators. I will explain this later. Can be used only by the owner and store item info is only to premium version. Disable worlds is to disable this item to execute activators, stuff right here in specific worlds. With this you can disable, for example, using the item in the spawn, and you can enable using it in your adventure world. Just an example. And the last thing is variables, that I will explain this later too. So once this main GUI is explained, let's go to activators. What is an activator first of all? An activator is a way to trigger a skill. A skill is a block of commands, okay? So for example, you right click the way and you run block of commands, the skill. The example for this item will be right click and it will give ourselves effect speed, okay? So first let's create activator and let's see. The first thing is the display name. It is not necessary, you can leave it in the default name, but it is just the display name of the activator. In this case, give effect speed, or you can call it adrenaline, for example. Now the option. The option is the way to trigger the skill. In the free version, it is limited, but let's see what do we have. All click, so no matter what click you're clicking, the block of commands will be run. Before dead, change world, click on player, dead, okay. I wanted right click, remember. All click is not the same than right click. I'm searching for it. Fill bucket, launch projectile, left click, and right click. Here we have. Next thing is the cooldown option, and it is applying the cooldown to the player. For example, this activator can only be activated one time per 10 seconds. So let's go here. Let's select the cooldown to 10. If you would like to work in ticks, the Minecraft ticks, 20 ticks is 1 second, you can enable this option. Also, you can change if you want to display the cooldown message or not, and if you're displaying it, you can even change it. And cancel event feature, I will explain this later. So let's save for now. These two options are for only premium, so let's go next to detailedSlots. It is where the activator will work. In this case, the activator, the way to trigger is right click, where you can right click. If we enter here, we will see that the only option enabled is main hand, but you can enable, for example, offhand too. Or another example, you can disable both of these and only work if it is in slot 0. What will this mean? That if the diamond sword is in a slot 0, no matter where I right click, it will trigger the diamond sword. If you want to only work when right clicking specifically the diamond sword, you have to disable all and only enable main hand. That will mean the activator will only work if you are holding this specific executable item. So let's save. Next option is type of target. Remember, the activator is right click. Where do you want to right click? For example, no type of target, only air and only block. Let's use for now, for this example, only block. Next feature is global cooldown. It's the same that cooldown options, but in global way. For example, if I use my item and I give that item to my friend, he will be able to use it too, because the cooldown will be only applied to myself. If you don't want that to happen, you can enable global cooldown. That means everyone will share the cooldown. Next feature is other EICooldowns. This is useful to apply cooldowns to another items from an item that it is not itself. For example, let's say we have 10 diamond swords and you want to only trigger one ability per time. That means if you use this ability, you can't use the other abilities of the another sword. So you will need to add cooldown to the other diamond sword to make the player to don't use them. How to do it? Using other A cooldowns. Next thing is required things, but it is only for premium version. Cancel event, I told you that I will explain this later. Auto update item. What does this do? Well, first of all, let's see that my diamond sword that I gave myself a long time ago, it's called tutorial free sword, add lines, second line, third line, an empty line, line after empty line, okay? And what happened if I change this value, for example, the name of the sword, using the GUI? I go out here, and I change the custom name. The custom name will be changed here, but not in the items that the player already have. Okay, so the changes are not synchronized. So if you want your changes that you make here are applied to the items that player has, you should enable this. Keep in mind that this will only change visual stuff, for example, custom name and lore. If we make changes in the activator, for example, changing the cooldown options, changing the type of trigger that is automatically updated, so it is not necessary. It only applies for visual stuff. Then we have variables that it is not explained yet, and all this row is for conditions. For example, in this case, it is player right click, perfect. But what if we add conditions? Let's go here, and here we can enable, for example, if sneaking, that means right click and sneaking. If not sneaking, that means right click and not sneaking. It will not work if you are sneaking because the condition is not to sneak. If sprinting, if flying, if blocking with the shield, if gliding, if cursor distance, a lot of conditions. Here you can add a lot of conditions. Let's place one for now that it will be if not sneaking. Let's enable this. This is the error message. You can change it if you want. And cancel event that it is not explained yet. Let's save, let's save. Also you have block conditions. This will only appear if your activator is related to a block, because we selected type of target only block. For example, let's set this to only air, and the block conditions doesn't appear anymore because the activator is not related to blocks anymore. Okay, so only block, and block conditions appears, detailed blocks too. What is this? It means it will only work if you right click a block and a specific block. For example, it will only work if you right click the diamond block. Let's do it. Let's go here, blocks, diamond block, and finish. Message if it's not valid, and cancel event that it is not explained yet. Let's save, and now we have block conditions. Also we have world conditions, item conditions, custom A conditions. Let's enable if need player confirmation. What is this? That the player not have to confirm the use of the activator. In this case, the activator is right click. The player will need to right click 2 times because that's the way it is confirmed. Let's enable this, and that's it. Save, save. And the last condition is placeholders conditions. Here you can use all the placeholders that placeholder API has. That there are a lot and for every plugin. So this will be very useful. Then we will have silence output, that this silence some of the commands that are run. For example, the effect command that gives the player an effect. Sometimes it is output in the console and it is a lot of spam. You can silence it, enable this option. And the last thing and the most important, I will return to my example, right click, the way to trigger a skill. What is the skill? The commands. And here we have the commands. In this case, I wanted to give myself a speed. So effect give player. If you want to check the placeholders, you can check the wiki in the description below. Speed 5 seconds 1. This one means speed 2. And let's finish. Let's save, back, save. Let's give ourselves the diamond sword. And if we right click the air, it doesn't happen anything because we selected the activator will only work when right clicking block. So let's click the block, and the block is not correct. Why? Because we selected it will only work if we click a diamond block. So let's place the diamond block, and if we right click it, you can activate this item if need player confirmation. Remember, one right click and then another one. And now we have a speed 2. And that's it. That's how the activators works. Let's go to the activator again. And let's add a message, for example, effect give speed and a message. You can do it using the command send message, where you can see every command right here in this page and also in the wiki. Again, the wiki link is in the description below. So send message, you have activated the power of diamond speed 2. And let's finish. Send message, yeah, save, back, save. Let's try again. Right click and you have activated the power of diamond speed 2. Now, let's test another thing, that what if I am shifting and I right click the block? You can activate this item if valid condition, if not sneaking. Remember, we selected that it will only work if you are not sneaking. That's why it is not allowing me to trigger the activator when I am sneaking. And that's it. Let's see another stuff. Let's go to activators. And we have also block commands that instead of player commands are commands that are run in the block. We can see this because the activator is related to a block. Because of this, only block. If we have only air, that block commands doesn't appear. Okay? So let's set this to only block. And block commands, we can see that we have different commands for block commands. In this case, it will be break. So I will break the diamond block. And let's save. Back and save. If we right click it, if need player confirmation, right click again. And the diamond sword is gone. The diamond block is gone. And I give myself a speed. That is how activators works. Now let's explain usage. Usage is pretty simple in the free version, so I just have to explain this. Usage 0 means you can use the activator one time. Usage 1 means you can only use the activator one time. 0 and 1 are the same. The only difference is this. If I give myself the item, it's normal. If we set this to usage 1, that is the same than 0 again, it will display remaining uses 1. Okay? So what happens with this? This is the amount of times you can use the activator. Let's set this, for example, to 10. Okay? Let's give the item and remaining uses 10. You can disable remaining uses, go into hiders and hide usage. What means remaining usage? The activator, I will only be able to use it 10 times. Let's see. 1. Okay, I have cooldown. Let's delete the cooldown just for testing. Just for testing. 0, save, save, back, save. 2. Check that it is in 8 now. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and it's gone. Okay. What if we would like this item to work infinite times? We have to set usage to -1. Okay, and now the diamond sword can be used the times we would like to, because it is infinite. Okay, so that is usage. Now let's go to cancel event. What is cancel event? First of all, we have to know what is an event. The event is always related to the activator. In this case, the activator is right click. Okay? I will delete this activator and create it again just for testing purposes. So, the activator, for example, in this case is all click. So the event is clicking with every click, with any click. If the activator is before dead, the event is the dead, because this activator will only trigger when dying. Okay, it will trigger before dying, but it triggers when dying. Okay, so that is the events. The events are always related to the activator. The most simple to show you how cancel event works is right click. If we enable cancel event right here, let's save, and now if we right click, the event will be cancelled. If I right click the block, it doesn't make sense. I have something to show you that it is being cancelled. So let's place a button, redstone lamp. If I right click it normally, it will turn on. If I right click with the diamond sword, it is not triggering the redstone lamp because when right clicking with this sword in the main hand, the event is cancelled. Okay, so I can't use buttons, I can't use levers, I can't use doors. The event is completely cancelled. Okay, that's how cancel event works. Remember, this is related to the activator. The event will depend on it. You can cancel the event right here. You can cancel the event if in cooldown, if in global cooldown, if a condition is not matched. For example, the cancel event will be applied if the player is not on fire. Because if we enable this, if it's on fire, cancel event if error. So if it is not in fire, the event will be cancelled. Okay? I think you get it. I hope. And that's it. Now let's go to variables. Let's delete this because the example will be different for variables. What are variables? Variables are a way to storage information, okay? They are like packages. We will see that when creating a variable, it has a name. In this case, it will be called click. It has a type. The type is important because strings behave as a string and number behave as number. That means number supports number modifications. For example, adding numbers and subtracting numbers, but a string doesn't. So in this case, it will be number because I will make an item that will display the amount of clicks you're making with the item. Okay? So it is called click, its type of number, and it starts at 0. It's normal because you haven't clicked yet when the diamond sword is given for first time. Let's say this back, and now we have the variable right here, but it doesn't do anything, it is not being even displayed. So let's modify this variable. First of all, it starts on 0. Let's create an activator. It will be all click because I want to register every click that you make with this diamond sword. Let's go to player commands, say bar click. You can check the placeholders of variables in the wiki that I will leave in the description below. Let's save this, finish, save, back and save. Now when all clicking, it will display the value of the variable, that it is 0. But it is not increasing. As I said, I wanted every click to go up one that value. So let's do that. A show, activator, and here in variables, because I want every click, the variable increase 1. So this option must be inside the activator. Okay. Let's go to variables, add new one. The name of the variable was click, and there we have two types, set and modification. Set is to set a static value. I don't want a static value because the value I want is increasing with the time. So it's type of modification. Modification of what? Of +1. In this case, the plus is not written. If you are working with negative numbers, it is written. But it is necessary, but in this case, it is not necessary. And that's it. Let's save, back, save, back, save. And let's test the item. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it goes up by 1 every click I do. Perfect. Now, this spam is kinda annoying. I would like these numbers to be displayed in the lore. Let's do it. Let's go to a show. First of all, I will delete the command of say, delete, and finish, save. And I want it to be displayed in the lore. Where can I edit the lore? Right here. Let's go to lore and add a new line, clicks, double dot, and the placeholder of the variable, bar, click. Let's finish, save, and now we have clicks 0.0. If I click 1.0. If I click a lot of times 23.0. But I don't like that 0.0. No problem. We can cast the variable as an integer. Bar click int. Let's finish, save, and now we have 0, 1. There is no 0.0 anymore. Okay, so we created the variable. Remember, the variable is a way to storage some information, and then we are modifying the variable depending on the activator. The activator is all click, and the modification is increasing by 1. That's why it represents the value of every click I make with this item. Okay? Let's make a complex item related to variables. I will create another item. AI create and consume register. What this item will do, emerald block, this will show you the amount of food you have eaten. Okay? The amount of food, remember, the amount is a value, and that value must be stored somewhere. Where are we going to store it? In variables. So first of all, the custom name, food counter, and the lore, amount of food eaten, double dot. We don't have the variable yet, so I will not add it. Finish. And right now it only does this. Let's advance on the item. First, let's create a variable. It will be called food eaten. It can't be a string because we are going to modify it by numbers, so it must be number. It starts on 0, that's normal, save, back, and now in lore we can add it, bar food eaten int. It makes it more cleaner. Finish, save, and that's right. It is working perfectly. Now let's modify this variable. Let's create an activator, and it is eating items, eating food, sorry. Eating is related to all click? No. To before dead? No. Change world? No. Click on player. Consume? That is what we want. Consume is when eating food. You can check every activator and how does it trigger in the wiki. I will leave it in the description below. So it is player consume, and the variable will increase food eaten modification by 1. Let's save, go back, save, and now it should go up if I eat a food. But let's check. It is 0, I eat, and it doesn't go up. Why? It doesn't go up because of the slots. If we check detailed slots, the variable modification increasing 1 will only work if the item is in your main hand. It's weird because you can't eat something with an emerald block in your hand. Okay? So for example, let's disable this and let's enable offhand. Okay? Just for example, we will change it later. So now if it is in offhand and I eat, you can see the item is gone. You would think why that happened. It's because of usage. Usage is 0, so the item related to the activator consume will only work one time. I will set it to -1 because I want it to work infinitely. So let's save. Let's bring it with us again. In offhand, I will eat. And now it says amount of food eaten 1, 2. But again, it will only work in offhand. If it is right here, 2, it stays 2. How can I make this variable go up in any slot? Let's check the question. How can I make this variable go up in any slot? How the variable goes up in the activator. How to make it work in any slot. Let's go to detailed slots. And in any slot means in all slots. Just you have to enable all slots. It will work in any slot. Doesn't matter where it is, it will work. So let's save, back, save. And now even if it's right here, I will eat. And now it is 3. It is 4. Let's place it here. It is 5. Let's place it here. 6. No matter where it is, it will work. So that was a more complex item related to variables. And that's it. We have the main GUI to edit general stuff. Let's go here. The main GUI where you can select general stuff. Then if we want our item to have like skills, we have to create an activator. In the free version you can only have one activator, that means one skill. Then the skill will be related to an event, the way to trigger the skill, and the skill is the commands. In addition of that, you have a lot of features. For example, the cooldown, where do you want it to work, if you can cancel the event. Remember, the event is related to the activator. If the activator is right click, if you enable cancel event, the event of right click will be cancelled. Okay? You can cancel event here in cooldown options, like cancel event if in cooldown, if a condition is not doesn't match, and a lot of stuff. Also, commands of player commands is not the only one that exists. It will depend on of the activator. If it's all click, for example, and it is only block, the block commands will appear, the detailed block and block conditions. If it is player click on player, for example, there will be target commands too, and it will depend on the activator. Okay? And the last thing is variables. Variables are a way to storage some information, and you can use it for whatever you want. Also, I almost forget. Usage. Usage is the amount of times you can use the activator. 0 and 1 are the same. The only difference is that 0 doesn't display the amount of usage left on the lore. Then if you set it to, for example, 5, the activator will only be activated 5 times. If you set it to 10, The activator will only work 10 times, then the item is gone. If you want it to work infinitely, set this value to -1. And that's it. I would like to create a complex item talking every feature we just said, we just explained it, but it is kinda hard to make it in the free version. Free version, for obvious reasons, has limitations, so it's hard to combine every feature. You can still making cool items, for example a diamond sword that when right clicking it appears particles, it will allow you to dash to front, then to make damage around you with a lot of fire particles and visual stuff. It is free items can be cool, but for the reason I want, that it is combining every feature explaining in this tutorial, it's quite hard. It's not possible. And that's it. I hope you understood this tutorial. If you have any question that wasn't explained here and it is not explained in the wiki, please use the resources you want. You have a whole wiki, you have these videos. If your question doesn't appear there, feel free to ask in Discord. We will be happy to help you. Now go to create some items and have fun. See you.